What is up, everyone? It's Charles. It's your host here for Voice Podcast, and we're going to talk about content creation, managing clients, working with other people, and getting your services out there to really maximize your results when it comes down to tapping into your creativity. I got someone in here that I've been trying to get on the podcast for quite a while, but we've been both busy, and I've had the honor and privilege to work side by side with him, learn from him ultimately, and really just capture what this man is capable of when it comes down to creating. And I'm just like honestly, put it this way, guys, if I had the ability to right now, I would hire this guy on the spot if he pitched it to me. And the reason why is just because he's that talented. He's a hard worker too, not to mention, and he's super chill to hang out with. So I have here Eddy. How do you pronounce your last name?
This is a good one because ever since I can remember, everybody can never figure out how to say my last name typically. But you just ignore the H in the middle, so it's Cahue.
Cahue.
Yeah, Cahue.
Okay.
Super easy. That's why I'm like, it's really not that complicated.
Is that a Mexican last name?
Yeah, apparently it is.
Well, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good. Tired. We just, we did some work earlier this morning, but I'm ready to do this. I'm on my second Red Bull, and hopefully it's enough energy to get me chattering.
Perfect. I'm glad I got those 2 Red Bulls then. I knew you liked those Red Bulls. I'm more of a sports performance energy drinker myself.
So what do you drink?
I was drinking rain. You know,
Rain.
so sometimes I would drink Bang. Sometimes I would drink, what else is there? What's that one with the A? That has like an A.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I just drink Red Bull.
I should drink Red Bull. I'm not a professional at this. That's fair.
I like to try different things. Don't get me wrong, but
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to get a sponsorship at this point.
All right, Red Bull, you heard that. All right, guys. So for anybody tuning in, or if you've ever worked with Eddy, you would know what kind of work he delivers. You would also know how he operates when it comes down to things. He can get the efficiency done, get the quality, and get you the best results in a matter of a time speed without hesitation. Like this guy can deliver deadlines for you without even you asking for it, just because he's just that efficient when it comes down to it. So how long have you been doing videography so far, bro?
So I've been doing videography, at least on my own. I started officially 2020.
2020? Okay.
But I have been working, here and there with small companies on my own, just small little projects, not necessarily full-time or anything like that. I picked up my first camera in 2016, which was a GH5.
Okay.
It was when I was trying to decide to either be a Sony boy or, Canon or something like that. So I remember spending weeks deciding on a camera.
Okay.
But I would say 2016 ultimately is where I started actual videography, learning the craft and
Nice.
developing my own style from there. Ultimately, you still learn from a lot of people. YouTube is always great with information. I always recommend picking maybe 1 or 2 creators and just follow their formats, trying to duplicate their work, then start kind of just adjusting it to where you like the certain things. Start adding your flavor to that.
Okay.
Because you got to start somewhere. And
No,
then
absolutely.
it's nothing wrong with copying. I think everybody should copy because, that's how you're going to learn everything.
How did you get started with your videography journey?
Me? So as far as I can think of, I've been creating videos at home all the time. I used to borrow my sister's little Canon shot cameras to make videos out of that. I'd cut it up on Movie Maker just to entertain my family. Done movies to show my brothers and just learning the process. I didn't know anything in regards to how to frame things or anything like that. I just wanted to tell a story.
Yeah. Oh, you just like
ultimately.
telling stories.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So that was kind of just my start, is understanding why I liked it. And because I like to tell stories, I like to, tell people's stories also.
For sure. Yeah, you are a
and-
pretty compelling storyteller.
And I try to be, bro. I'll be honest, I have bad ADHD. Sometimes
Same.
I start one point and then I just switch over talking about it. It's pretty bad.
For sure.
A lot better now, but
More confined, right? Directed
Exactly.
and what's the word I'm looking for? Honed in.
exactly. Honing in on it.
Interesting.
So yeah, it just started off kind of just at home, creating little stories for my family. And then from there, I would say it's weird because you know my background. I did graphic design. I did
Yes.
a little bit of everything. So
Tell us about that.
unfortunately, I was kind of one of those people that like to put their hand in all the cookie jars because I'd like to do everything. I want to try to do everything.
And that's not something to be unfortunate about, because think about it, right? If you didn't do that, would you have known where you want to be at today?
Yeah, but then I feel like I would have been a little bit more focused and I would have been where I'd be at now, I guess you would say, with that specific thing.
Gotcha.
But in all, there's things happen for a reason. And fortunately, everything lined up at an appropriate time for me. And I told you, like 2020 is that when I decided, I want to do this full time. I quit my job at the time. I was working full time at some office job, doing the 9 to 5 stuff.
Yes.
A little more customer service. Did start off doing video work, but then COVID happened, and then unfortunately, things kind of weren't definite where it was going. So I had to do more of the retail stuff. So I just didn't want to do that anymore, and I just knew I had it. I just need to go out there and get it.
And when did you know that this was going to be something you wanted to do for yourself?
I'm not even sure how I kind of decided. It just one thing led to another, almost like a domino effect. It's one of those things where I guess I think I got to a certain point where I knew I can do this on my own. I guess now that I think about it, it's just why am I waiting for somebody to tell me to make this stuff when I can just do it on my own and on my own merit, on my own time, how I think I should do it.
Right.
Nothing wrong with having other opinions, because I work best with my clients when it comes to understanding where they're coming from,
for sure,
what they want to see and all that stuff. So I work close with my clients when it comes to understanding what they want to get. And then adding that to my fire, it just creates a little formula, I guess you would say.
So you kind of saw like this thing where there was, I don't know if it's the same for you. At least for me, this is when I started to realize, hey, this is really cool. There was a little bit of fire, right? That you were kind of feeding.
Yeah.
Would you say a fuel?
Yeah.
Right? And then as you spoke to the clients or spoke with people about it or talking about ideas, it grew even bigger.
Yeah.
Would you say it was kind of like something like that?
It's something like that for sure. I'm even thinking back about it because honestly, I don't get to talk about this very often. I'm usually on the other side of the cameras.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we had you here, man.
That's why it's like...
You said you were ready, so we're going to voice it out, right?
It's a nice therapy because it's just peeling back the layers of it. I'm just like Shrek. I'm that onion. It's just peeling back the layers. Like, oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm going to peel you off.
It's nice to slow down and see where I came from because it did suck. I remember the days where I was like, broke as fuck, no money in the account, running my credit cards. But
sure.
I knew I had something going on. And thankfully enough, I had the tenacity to stick with it.
Nice.
And it just developed me. It was pretty much a pressure cooker. I work my best under pressure, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
And then I finally got out of that funk. I developed a system for myself where, okay, I need to stop doing this. I need to do more of this. And really diving into what I need to work on as a person, number one. And then, because mentally you got to be lined up. I wasn't lined up. I was everywhere,
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. Same here.
So I kind of got to the moment where I'm good healthy-wise in the head. And then two, all right, I'm ready to move on professionally so that way we can, get this business going.
Create something out of it,
Exactly, because you got to start with yourself first. Because if you're not confident in yourself and if you're not, willing to develop yourself, then it's difficult to move forward.
Absolutely. I agree. I think at some point, if you don't make a decision for yourself, even if you, like the thing for me is like, I'd rather make a decision that I can say, you know what, that was a bad decision than to have no decision at all.
Yeah.
So I think as most creators that they struggle with is like, which one do I need to be? Which one do I need to be? I think the best direction is to have a direction than to have no direction.
Exactly.
Right? Because then, like, you're not going to know everything when it comes down to create or establishing or solidifying your profession or career, especially if you're a creator. Right? Like, you don't know, maybe you'll stay with one niche or industry.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll go to a different direction. I know many film directors or marketers or content creators that pivoted in different directions just because they started tapping it out. Right? So I want to gain from your experience, right? when it came down to re-identifying who you are, I think what are your thoughts on like of like selecting a direction?
I think you have to look into what you truly want to do and what makes you want to wake up every morning. What are you looking forward to?
For sure.
And for me, it was creating for people. It was going out there and getting results, not just a badass video. I want to get you results because
For sure.
I have such a heavy background in retail, running stores and, managing, where that business never left me. And I apply that with the video
For sure.
work.
It was a part of your, I would say, stepping stool.
For
right?
sure.
I also think that for you, you've based on how I work with you, and even before, because we used to work at a gym together.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I still got that picture. I got to share with you guys.
That's when we first started.
Yeah.
You were always a helpful person. Like, you always had the drive to want to help and strive to help others as well. So I think your values of combining the drive to help people, but also to create, tap into that creativity, it was something that I think influenced your decision to who you wanted to be today.
Oh, for sure. It's almost like that artistry that always pushes me because even in my background, I loved creating, like I told you, I did graphic design, and where it stemmed off of was I took a painting class in Oxford College. It's just an acrylic class. And that literally sparked my interest of creating art.
Right.
And fuck, I forgot where I was going with this.
No, that's what started with the graphic design.
Oh yeah, so that's why. Fuck, I totally fucked this up.
I agree. Good.
What was the question again? That way I can re-rail this again.
No, it was cool. I was just talking about how in order for you to make a decision, you had to create a foundational value. You have to identify your values first.
Yeah.
I think coming back into it, where when we were talking about the conversation in here, it's that you need to wake up. You need to figure out what wakes you up in the morning and fires you up.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, when I was doing podcasting the first time, I started finding passion in people's voice.
Yeah.
I loved seeing what they were standing for, what their dreams were, what they wanted to create ultimately. And I said, hey, I bet I can make a compelling story out of what you just told me.
Yeah.
And then when I would see that, my eyes would light up. So then essentially it was very natural for me to transition and say, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start an agency. And then I'm going to help businesses brand their voice and their business out. And I don't know why I came up with ORCA Media. Oh, actually, I do have an explanation for that. But
I'm curious about that too.
Yeah, no, it's a different conversation. We'll talk about maybe in this podcast. But for me, it was about how can I help you build it.
Yeah.
I knew for me, the biggest thing for me was what helped me get up every single day without a doubt and get to work right away is that if I know I'm contributing to something bigger than myself.
Yeah. And going back to what I was saying, I remember where I was going with that. It's that moment, that little magical moment, that aha moment where you have that client where you just see their reaction when you give them the final product.
Yep.
And what I was going with that is I would see that when I would paint.
Yeah.
So naturally, I progressed. And me being very impatient, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very impatient person. If I can speed up something, I'm gonna figure it out. So I started getting into spray painting, and then from spray painting, I got into the graphic work because I got instant results.
For sure.
Because at that point, I was creating art, making prints. I'm like, all right, how can I make this faster? All right, let's do it on the computer and mass produce it. We can, I don't have to worry about photographing it and color correcting it and all this crazy stuff. So it kind of just, like I said, it was a jack of all trades where I didn't master none of it because I was putting my hands everywhere. But every single thing had the same aha moment of everything had that creator's, reaction from the audience. And that's something that really drives me is that even like in the past, like I've always been around music and performed. I just loved, how people reacted to something that you created.
I think you and I can relate the same way. I personally like to be blunt about this thing.
Yeah.
I love attention.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm in a family of 9, so I can totally get it.
But for me, it's not about like, oh, fuck, like unwanted attention. Oh, you look good. Like, dude, I get awkward as hell when people start complimenting me.
Yeah.
But I like building something that it can wow people.
Exactly. And I love that wow factor. And it's fun to get that once you have that.
For sure.
And it makes the process a lot easier too with the client, and you look forward for the next projects. And that's
100%.
that magic that wakes you up every morning, that makes you want to move forward, and all these hours that you put into this project makes it worth it.
I think that's also part of it too. It's that you know that you put your effort, your guts, your tears, your effort,
Exactly.
your sweat, and what else? I don't know. Maybe you break a little couple of keyboards and
Yeah, exactly. Like the
that.
money's important, but it's just that moment just makes it that much sweeter.
Because you understand that there's the pain process, right? Which then you had to develop the patience and everything. So I don't know if you can tap into some of those moments. How did you pivot along those lines where you came across many technical difficulties and then you had to realize, you know what? This is worth the process. Because like some people would have been like, dude, I fucking hate fucking with technology.
Yeah.
And then I'll just hire somebody else to do this thing. You know?
Yeah.
What made you continue to continuously learning how to develop those tech? Because now you know way more than me.
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm a very competitive person.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I love to compete, indirectly mostly.
Oh yeah.
It's just fun to me. It's just motivating. So if somebody can do something, I'm like, I kind of want to do that too. I don't want to try to be better than you. I want to try it because you're doing it. I want to see why you're doing it. It just kind of opens up a little bit more possibilities for me and figuring out, okay, I am capable of doing this kind of stuff. Because initially I was afraid of trying things, but once you kind of get over that hump and you start, throwing your knives at the board, you're eventually going to hit that center,
For sure. And
So-
and I could agree with you on that end. It's the process of pursuing something and knowing you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that you can go through a challenge. And me and my little brother talk about this all the time, where we mentioned that you're not going to love life and create fulfillment if you don't come across problems.
Yes.
I think for us, when you start to really get immersed in the growth process, you start to even, what's the word I'm looking for? Look forward to the painful challenges. Because you know that through those pains, you're going to get some sort of fulfillment where no money, no time, no materialistic object can give you, right?
Yeah, and you build on top of that. I mean, I could think of moments where there was technical difficulties, even if it's just like maybe I forgot the SD card or something, whatever it is. There's always those moments where
Programs.
Exactly.
Adobe Premiere.
Oh, Jesus. Don't even talk about Premiere, bro. Renders and stuff like that. Things rendering incorrectly, even though it's correct.
Man.
Anyways.
I gotta before I shout. I want to give a shout out to my brother, my brother-in-law. He's the one who helped me figure out what technology I needed to step my game up to in order to accommodate for those growth pains.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, I think like me, when I try something and I know I can't do it, it's okay to take the L too.
That's a good way of taking that.
Because it just kind of more, it builds more self-awareness, and I think I would still give it a try and stuff like that. Don't give up, but just know your capabilities, and then whenever you feel like it and giving it a go again, do it.
I like that approach, knowing that you probably take an L today, but it doesn't mean you've lost.
Nah, you haven't lost, bro. That's the beginning.
And sometimes you might have to be triggered to know that fuck. And if anything, right, an untalked about topic is that when you're pissed off at something that you're pursuing, it shows that you're actually passionate about it. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had moments like that. I'm thinking right now that I'm thinking about it, there's a program I try to learn. Have you heard of Blender?
No.
So Blender's pretty much a 3D program where you create all these like 3D things and make it super realistic.
Yes.
I love that stuff. I started messing with it last year, and I got decent, did the whole donut tutorial, and I was able to do some like logos for people. But it was one of those moments where I had to walk away and let it sit. Maybe I'll try next month. I knew I wasn't clicking, but it doesn't mean it won't click later on.
I do remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to pick it up again this year. And right now, I'm just prioritizing my systems of just making sure that everything's well-oiled and everything's producing, making sure my clients getting everything on time. Because my clients are important to me because they're a direct reflection of what type of work I produce.
For sure.
And I want to make sure I'm there for them as much as they are for me, because I love my clients. They're motivating to me, and anything that they kind of want to do, we'll figure it out. If you want to do like a podcast over, a live stream, I've never done that before, but you know what? Let me do the R&D for it. Let me figure it out.
Yeah.
And then let's come up with a plan. And it's like moments like that, like I said, where any challenges, I love it, because it's that competitive thing of like, all right, you're challenging me. Let's go. Let's figure this out.
I love that. Yeah. I think that's a key fair point to make as well, because like I said, it really comes down to you knowing what you're passionate about and what you want to represent.
Yeah.
Right. What choose your happiness. So let's pivot a little bit. I know we talked about this on the way here and before. Shout out to Carnitas Array. Gave us his amazing food. I was feeling a little sleepy, but this conversation is elevating me. I love having talks with you, because every time I'm sitting or hanging out with you, Eddy, we're always talking about something new, and that's why I can appreciate about you.
Thank you.
Let's pivot into client work, right? A lot of people want to be, or some people want to get into content creation, and let's talk about specifically for videographers. We mentioned, I think, the difference between a lot of freelancers that I've met across is that they're maybe too shy.
Yeah.
Don't know how to put themselves out. And even for us, like we still have a hard time pricing ourselves, right? Knowing our worth, quote unquote.
Yeah.
How to pitch high because we are afraid we might lose them, right? What are some things that you can, take some time to talk about this thing? What are some things that you feel that's important to emphasize now for anybody getting into freelancing?
Honestly, start your little pocket of other videographers. That's the first thing I did, is get involved in the community and see who's out there, what talents they have, what they offer, because there's so much talent out here. And I love seeing other people's work. Like half these dudes I never met in person, but we're talking, DMing and talking about cameras, talking about things in the community. And it just helps circulate things, and having a community like that, it builds clients, and it's going to build more clients because it's all word of mouth mostly. At least a lot of my work is. I haven't passed a business card in a while, unfortunately. It's bad to say, but I'm the guy that's putting my phone number in your telephone physically. Like, call me, text me right now. This is my name. I'm very direct, and just be confident. It's hard to say be confident, because I was there. Even now, I'm still shy to talk to certain clients, or even or potential clients.
You don't sound like you're very shy to talk to clients.
I know. I just turn it on, bro.
You're very natural, bro.
Yeah, I just turn it on, unfortunately. And I'm nervous as shit usually, and I'm having a pep talk in my head. But knowing that I tried and I did it makes me that much better as a person, I guess you would say, because fuck, I didn't think I was able to do any of this stuff. For example, when we did the collab district thing, I was nervous as shit. Like,
oh, bro, same. It's been a while since I was in the front of people, even if it was just like, 10, 12 people?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That was still, I knew most of them. I was still nervous.
Oh,
I was like, yo, what am I doing?
Because you care about what information you're going to give out.
For sure.
And I treat, back in the day when I used to play in bands, like if I'm playing in front of one person, or if I'm looking to play in front of 50 people, where the heck, I'm going to play the shit out of these drums or whatever the hell I'm doing, because you come out the effort to watch me. Now, here it is. I'm going to dance for you. So I kind of have that kind of attitude when it comes with my clients too, is, I don't know. It's fun to go above and beyond, but make sure you set your boundaries out. Yeah. That's the important part, I feel.
Talk about that. I've had my fair share of establishing boundaries. I think because I've done a lot of sales, I understood how to redeem my worth. Yeah. So that I'm always the type of person who gives more up front, but if I start to feel like I'm starting to get taken advantage of, I'll set my boundaries right then and there and let them know, hey, even though I did this for you, this is what it actually cost. So if we do this again next time, let's make sure to accommodate this. And it's not even for me. To be honest, if I wasn't getting paid for this thing and I was doing it for free because we don't need money, I would be totally okay doing it, just because that's just my nature to help. But the other part is I want to set up the system for myself so that when I onboard people, I don't want that client taking advantage of my people.
Yeah. And on that point, shit, I had something on my mind.
Sorry, I might have blocked you out. Talking about clients, talking about establishing boundaries.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, communication is going to be key. Kind of going back to how to, get into the game. I don't even. It's weird to say that because like 3 years ago, I would not even be fucking. I don't know. I'm very thankful for the position I am right now, for sure. And it's very humbling being able to talk about it because I haven't self-reflected in a while. I think you should always self-reflect every once in a while so that way you know what kind of progress you have and what improvements you can do and stuff like that. But going back to that, communication is definitely key when it comes to your clients. Being clear with deadlines, being clear with your pricing is very important. So like you mentioned, like maybe you did like a add-on where you stayed an extra 30 minutes or you decided to take maybe a couple pictures or a quick reel or something like that. Make sure you're communicating, hey, I put in this time for you. This is something I kind of set aside and, I was grooving. Usually I charge for this, but, don't even sweat it. Like, I got you. Yeah, but make sure that communication is clear because sometimes clients do tend to, I don't want to say take advantage, but they forget.
They forget.
It's not their fault.
Yes, it isn't. I would agree as well. Like, it's not like that the people out there are bad horribly.
Yeah.
It's just that because we're service providers, it's very easy to diminish the boundaries or the deliverables of quantity that we agreed to.
Yeah.
So I think for you on your end, having that clear communication and knowing that, hey, you know what, like you have to understand your worth.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't have that sense of understanding your worth, then it's kind of hard to communicate that.
Yeah. You definitely have to be confident when it comes to pricing.
And you build that up through these experiences.
Exactly. You have to kind of just step up to bat and start swinging, man.
For sure.
Like, I'm horrible at batting, but eventually I will get that.
You'll get that swing, right?
Exactly.
100%. And I think the other thing is that sometimes maybe given a little bit is actually a great strategy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about strategies.
Yeah.
What are some strategies that you're doing to get more clients for your business?
So what's been kind of easy for me is to have sort of social media package deals. Not deals, but, social media packages. Those are always easy to, I guess, upsell, and systemize. Because I don't want to call it cookie cutter, but
it's not.
It's just it's easily itemized and it's easy to sell because it's more tangible. You don't have to wiggle.
Easy to sell, and then a lot of clients also don't know what they're looking for.
Exactly. And if you're able to provide some sort of menu, and then this is the results I got from this. Check this out. This is my other. And it's harder if you don't have, I guess, a couple more clients who've done this before. But I mean, shoot a couple things for for family, friends, businesses, and stuff like that. Start these little edits. Create these little packages so that way you can start showcasing. This is what you can do. I tell
that all the time to other photographers and videographers or other people who have certain work. I'm like, dude, package your shit.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's funny because some of these people I know, they keep taking classes. I'm like, dude, you don't need to take any more classes. Get enough portfolio so that you can package it and then sell it at a cost that makes sense for you first.
Yeah, exactly. And because you're going to be able to set that up. You're going to know how much time you're going to invest. Everything's all there. And it makes it easier for you to just pitch it out.
Exactly.
And set aside time to do it.
Yeah. And I think for the first parts of your life doing this thing, you don't know how much certain things cost.
Yeah.
Yet.
It's because you're trying to figure out what your value is.
Yeah.
It's a constant struggle of like, am I worth it? Am I gonna really pitch them like $1,000 for like a full day shoot or something like that?
Oh my gosh, bro.
So it's like, but once you're kind of confident in your work and you have presentables that have a little bit of backing, the world's yours, man.
Okay. So for some people in here, like I've never pitched anything more than 10, or I never earned. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I've never earned anything over 10,000 of a package yet. I want to go back into some people are barely under hundreds and maybe even 500s.
Yeah.
Hey Voice community, quick break. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. For anyone in business listening, did you guys know that having the right voice for your brand will allow you to distinguish yourself from other competitors and be kept in mind? What do I mean by this? There are businesses that offer the same products or services as many other bigger brands, and maybe even for a lower cost. But they have no strategy on how to communicate their authentic voices for their business to represent why they are unique. Thus, they turn into a commodity. Businesses can actually leverage social media by presenting themselves as an authority and becoming relevant in their space through content that matters. This podcast is produced by our agency, ORCA Media Agency, that offers social media marketing services such as content creation like videos, photos, and podcasts like this, managing social media accounts, and creating a strategy around their authentic brand voice to establish a strong presence online and build their customer base. We work locally all around Ventura to LA County, all around SoCal, and help brands thrive online by finding their unique selling points and creating content that allows them to attract new customers through content that is personalized and enticing. So if you're ready to take your brand or organization to the next level, and you want to stop charging people based on lower cost, but for the quality and authenticity and uniqueness of your brand, then this type of marketing might be for you. If this sounds like a great timing for your organization or business to incorporate, we have a special discount offer of up to $300 for you to start your branded content campaign with us, or if you decide to refer to someone, we will also apply the discount. Just make sure to mention this podcast. The link will be in this podcast if you'd like to book a discovery call to see if we're a great fit, or you can contact us at info@orcamediaca.com. The first time you got your 1,000 deal, like more,
Yeah.
right? How did you feel, and what was that package looking like?
The first package like that was a shoe. Who did I do for that? I think that the first big one that I actually did just on the side was for CBF Productions, and Sky Center hooked me up with that one.
Oh, nice.
So shout out to Sky. Hooked me up. He let me know, hey, dude, love your work. We've worked together before. So he let me know, hey, we got this opportunity. I know you're killer. I want to take care of it. I'm like, for sure, dude.
Easy, right?
So it was pretty much a full day shoot with, hype video to go with it. And it was a lot of fun. It felt great because, it was an all day shoot. You're just filming a bunch of drunk people having a good time. And then you get to be on stage and get dope shots of the artist.
Nice.
And it's a fun experience, and super thankful to have that opportunity. And it's just an accumulation of having all these small little snippets of work that built up to, bigger packages like that.
Yeah.
It's just produce a lot more work in smaller quantities if you have to. It's going to showcase things. It's going to show your abilities, even if it's just like Señora selling elotes or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Make a hype video off of that. You're
Nice.
going to get, you're going to promote her, number one, because you got to support your local vendors. And then two, it's just free content for you to create and just to have some sort of platform, something to work on, because you should be making videos out of anything on your daily. Like, you think your life is boring, but it really isn't. Just find different angles.
You just have to find a way to tell your story.
Exactly. Just find different angles to tell your story.
And that's what this podcast was really about. It's just like figuring out your story.
Yeah.
And this is why I do this thing, because I like helping people find that out. And I love the fact that we're in an industry where we can do that naturally.
Yeah.
We love seeing those angles. We love seeing the highlights that people don't get to notice. And we get to create something out of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as that end, I forgot what question I was going to come along with this thing. But so far, with your current career, with doing this as videography, what has been some of the best moments that you've been able to do for yourself?
Honestly, it's just that's a tough one. The guitar is going off right now too.
Yeah, listen to it too. I know. Rocking out.
What was the question one more time?
What's one of the best moments or best times you've done working in your freelancing career?
There's so many moments. It's hard to kind of pinpoint anything, because the thing about this career is it's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what the hell you're going to get. I have my retainer clients, but I still have, that open pocket of who wants to work with me.
For sure.
And it's fun because I might be at a restaurant, or I might be at a gym, or I might be at a festival. I might be somewhere different, or at a business, or behind some sort of like crazy industrial area or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's just moments where you think you couldn't do it or get to that client are kind of like the moments that really kind of just spark it, I guess you would say,
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I guess for me, a lot of the moments come when oftentimes there's a lot more room for creativity, right? Because I think often a lot of most of the clients I work with, they've seen me as someone who can help elevate their brand even more.
Yeah.
So they're never, or most of them are not someone who's like, oh, you know what? I want this specific brand image.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of those business owners need help crafting that.
Yeah.
Again, for us, that's where we ask those questions and start asking things like, hey, what do you want the audience to start perceiving your brand as?
Yeah, and that's an important thing, is to ask questions, a lot of questions when it comes to your client or
Right.
whoever you're working with. You got to identify what issues they're having, if they're having issues, or I want to say issues, or just something you want to improve on. What are they trying to do? What are the goals? Once you line up your goals with your client, then that's where the creative juices kind of just, that's weird to say, creative juices keeps going. That's a great position to start, I guess you would say, is have a questionnaire with a client first
Yes.
before you start working with them.
I do that to any client I talk to. I think a lot of videographers or freelancers, they ask, what do you want to shoot?
Yeah, I'm like,
Well, they're going to see, the thing is, the way I see this is if you ask a vague question, you're going to get a vague answer.
Yeah.
So for all my potential freelancers out there that are struggling, who are having a hard time getting more clients, I think what you really need to start focusing on is adding value to the person you're talking to, whether it is a customer who wants more portrait, just someone who, like a customer, not really a business, basically, just a regular person for their family, or for, like, I think you need to start asking specific questions. I think specifically for commercial, however, if you want to get more consistent deals, commercial is probably the best way to go, unless you have a consistent flow of advertising for your customer service business.
Yeah.
But for commercial, oftentimes they're going to keep hiring you, especially with the rise of social media. With this end, you definitely need to start asking the right questions about how they want to portray their business. And you, as a creator, need to allow yourself to tap into this vocal side of you that says, hey, I see this part of your business that I think it's really beautiful that other people should learn about.
Oh, for sure. Because they're usually, business owners are so busy with the business, they don't see the potential of what they're missing. I love walking in there. I'm like, how do you not making content out of this?
Oh my
How are you not
gosh.
making content out of that? I'm like, but that's why I love walking into these places, because everything's so untapped. I'm like, all right, let's
That is
tap
the
that
best
whale.
part.
Yeah.
That's the best part about working. No, one of the best parts are.
And then you're over here thinking, like, how are you guys struggling to make content? And it's like, it's all here.
Oh, dude, you know how many businesses we probably talked to a lot of businesses that didn't know that they could probably market, and you probably talked to a bunch of them too. Like, oh, I didn't know, like, you can talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so crazy. I think this is why a lot of people need to start considering hiring creatives more. So now we're gonna switch it to the business owners, right? Why I started working with freelancers is because they can amplify things in your business that you haven't thought about.
Exactly. You're too busy to run, both creatively and then the actual business aspect itself.
100%.
Plenty of business owners already have a hard time even just replying to DMs, reacting to even like comments or anything like that stuff. And honestly, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be focused on your business.
Amplifying, scaling it up. Yeah, I think if you really, I've met a few. I rarely work with businesses that want to do everything.
Yeah.
Most businesses that I know that are thriving and crushing it often want somebody else to do the work for them.
And they're typically all kind of compartmentalize their roles within that business. It's typically not a person, because what I've noticed is people that try to do their social media and their business, there's some talented people that can balance both.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
But once you kind of scale out to multiple like brick and mortar businesses and stuff
For
like
sure.
that, it gets a lot more difficult.
Now you're handling operations,
Exactly.
you're handling finances, admins, HR. Like once you start doing these things, I think you can start considering working with people.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little about these packages that you do, Eddie. Because, you know, when I work with a client, I always try to get them to, I guess, get comfortable with the idea that in order for us to build your social media presence, you have to start creating more content and systemizing that where it makes sense as part of your campaign. For your end, why do people need to start purchase as a business? Why do you say people need to start considering getting more videos for their business and social media?
Right off the back, from what I understand and what I've seen is video itself is already getting a lot more impressions and interactions than photos. I've seen photos do well, but video tends to always dominate the data. If they're investing in video, I mean, you're gonna you can repurpose a lot of that stuff for different things.
100%.
And you can recut it different ways and still use it the same way. I mean, you could do that photo, but I feel with video, you have more options when it comes down to sound bites and just doing it overall. I think with businesses, they should, when they're working with freelancers, consider at least working for about 3 to 6 months. Just because, I mean, I've experienced it where we try to start something, and a lot of times, you know, starting off the first batch of videos, it's more of like establishing the business is and all that good stuff. So it's good to have those initial videos, but you still got to build on top of that.
Yes.
And continue the story and continue engaging and capitalizing on the videos that did well and figuring out the audience, because that's the most important thing is you got to figure out your audience. You're not going to figure out your audience off of like 4 videos.
Nope.
You got an idea, maybe like, all right, this one did a little well, but let's test it out. And then
Not at all.
you got to keep on testing things.
Yep.
And I think realistically, 6 months is definitely like the sweet spot.
For sure.
I would at least do 3 months. At least do 3 months.
Test it out and see if there's a market for it. Which at this point there is almost a market for almost every industry niche out
for
there.
sure.
And you're getting me passionate about this, and I'm glad I actually asked this question because a lot of businesses want one video to convert. Yes, that's possible if you know exactly the sales script, your audience, your direction, your angle. But realistically, if you're a starting business or you haven't been on social media, it's gonna take some time for you. For one, yes, to understand what your audience is looking for and how to position it in a way where it's captivating and highlights your business the best way. 2, it requires for your marketing creative team to start integrating with how you operate your business. And 3, it requires the algorithm start understanding how your audience start perceive things and how they can push things. And then lastly, how do you accumulate data, what works and what doesn't, if you don't make any mistakes? Now, as painful as it is for me to say, is even for me as a business owner, I understand that as much as we want one thing to minimize the cost and maximize profit, it's gonna take some time. You're gonna have to do some growing pains.
Yep.
Now, granted, if you work with a videographer instead of trying to learn it yourself, or a freelancer for whatever service it may be for your business, you would have a higher chance of getting a better work that can potentially convert and maybe even go viral because you work with someone that's experienced like Eddy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not just vouching him, you know, but I'm telling this from experience because, you know, like I said, if I didn't have time to create video and soon at one point it's going to happen, I would hire Eddy in an instant like that.
Appreciate the shout out,
You know, so. But I just wanted to point that out because like that got me passionate for a minute.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love it. That's why I'm always talking to you, dude. Every time we always talk about something. We get all sweaty about something.
Sweat. I'm trying to keep the cool temperature here. But yeah, man. So thank you for sharing a lot of those insights. Hopefully, both freelancers and creators and business owners can get value in this thing. Let's talk about kind of a controversial topic, if you're okay with it.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah. Okay.
Give it to me.
And I thought, like, 'cause here's the thing, right? I work with a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
And we want to create as much distribution as possible.
Yes.
right? What are your thoughts on videographers giving out their raw footages to business owners to repurpose and create content of? Not strip you away from your, say that's theirs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's every videographer is going to have an opinion about this. Me personally, if you're asking me, I've worked with I feel at the client and see if I'm not working with a client that I trust, and I would say not trust, but I don't mind giving out raw footage. I really don't. It comes down to what the project is.
Yeah.
And for example, if you booked me for like a whole day and we're shooting, random things for example, like Carnitas Array today, all that footage, I don't mind you or anybody repurposing that footage, just because it's still going to go out there. You're still making money off of it, and initially it's going to bring you business in. I know you're not going to be probably happy with how it got edited or anything like that, but that comes down to kind of like, I guess, ego. Me, true. I don't mind. I really don't mind. I think it opens up a little bit more options when it comes to selling packages, because I mean, agree. You can still price it in. I don't. You can price that in. Yeah, you could definitely price it in. Like I said, it's gonna sit on a hard drive for years. I'm not gonna make anything off of it. I might as well make some money off of it.
I think the biggest underlying opportunity that freelancers don't get to see is that when business owners have these raw footages, who's gonna edit them?
Yeah.
Who's gonna repurpose them for other things? Listen, if you have the ability to get that client on a retention on a monthly rate, where now you can shoot less because you already captured that type of video anyways.
Exactly.
You're going to have less work and you can create a steady flow of income.
That is very true, because you're building a catalog of, videos for them.
100%.
That you are, building on top of that, and you can keep on pulling off this crap and repurposing all that stuff.
Now, I think that when that type of risk is only come at play is when you're working with a large enterprise.
Oh, for sure. So if you're working for like some sort of crazy contract with Sony or something like that, for sure, put your name on there.
I think that's where it comes down to.
For sure.
So for my experience, the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because I've spoken with a few freelancers that have a negative connotation to this thing. And yes, I do agree that you should value your work and you should charge more, because it is a valuable work that you put in, because it's your camera, your creativity. Therefore, why shouldn't you not get to? But I'm gonna be honest, and I don't mean this to put anybody down, but you're just getting started.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be shy. It just gets your stuff out there, if anything.
Right.
But that's just me. I'm too easygoing, I've heard.
But no, at some point, bro, like if we get to a big company and they say, oh yeah, we want raw footage, and then you have all the budget in the world, let's talk.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is identifying where it's going, and I guess the scale of it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a small business, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, dude, like what? They're gonna give it to friggin' Nintendo or
make royalties
or Hollywood.
Yeah, something crazy. I mean, that'd be dope.
unless I guess like if you're on one of those free websites, right, that give out free stock images.
Exactly. That's the only thing I can think of. But even then, that's a whole process to even do.
That is a whole process too, because like commercializing and licensing your footages.
Yeah, it's the same thing how I feel about information in general. Like if somebody asks me how I do something, like an effect or something, I tell them. Yeah. Like I don't gatekeep or anything like that.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing. That's why I have a circle of other buddies of videographers that I bounce ideas off of. It just creates more knowledge through the circle, and it creates more clients, and everybody kicks down like jobs. If I can't do it, I'll kick it off to somebody else. It's just a community that helps each other out.
Dude, I give my formula away to anybody who asks.
Oh, for sure.
Or sometimes I give it willingly just because they're there. Yeah. Now you're stuck with information. Haha. But
exactly. And I'll be honest, nine times out of 10, they can do shit with it.
Yeah, no. That's the other part, right? Like you give so much. If anything, I think you. I feel like this direction of communication style, I got it a lot from Gary V's, because you had to give before you start asking.
Yeah.
Right. But ultimately, when you start to give based on what you feel that works for you, it positions you in a credibility.
Yeah.
And authority.
It does.
And someone with information. Like if anything, I would want to work with you more because you look like a person that knows their shit.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like you said, credibility that you build off of just doing the actions.
Absolutely.
And taking care of business.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most important thing you got to do when it comes to your clients is, be clear communication, and then stick to what you fucking say.
Yeah.
If
100%.
you start fucking up or something like that, make up for it. You know,
Take accountability.
Take accountability. That's the biggest thing. Is I fucked up. I'm adjusting. Don't do it again.
Gosh,
you know,
bro. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've done?
That's embarrassing, bro. You want me to tell you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And don't tell me it's the lens cap.
No, that's not the lens cap. That hasn't happened to me. But the one that happened to me, I was rushing. Don't ever rush a shot. Don't ever do this. Just take your time, slow down. Don't worry about pissing off your client or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, you're going to piss them off anyways. Because you fucked up. So what I did was I was rushing. I think one of the mics died. It was a Rode 2 mic. And it was not fully charged, unfortunately. It was not my responsibility. It was not my set. So I was like, all right, we have another fresh one. Let's swap it. So when I was swapping the transmitter and connected it to the Rode, I actually accidentally put it in the headphones. I built a bad habit of not using headphones. I use headphones now. So all the audio was not caught. The audio was just off the camera and it sounds like shit, obviously. And then a lot of the stuff was just, not usable. The visuals were great, but it was more important that the audio was there because it was a walkthrough of something. So,
oh no.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I felt terrible, but I took responsibility as soon as I found out about it. I tried to fix it. Obviously some moments you can't. Like, for example, a wedding or anything like that. Fortunately, it was just like a how-to.
That's why I will never go in a wedding.
Dude, I've only done once. Shout out to Double Edge Enrique. He hooked me up and he let me shadow him. And that's what I'm telling you, like a circle of like videographers to like learn from. And he knew I did not want to do weddings. I don't want that pressure. But I was like, all right, you're bringing out the competitor in me. Let's do it. So I told him. He hit me up because he was working full-time FedEx, so he couldn't do this particular one. I'm probably gonna burn him out, but he ended up calling out and doing it as long as I was a second shooter. I'm like, all right, cool. I want to learn from you anyways. Let's hang out. Let's go shoot and handle this.
Shout out to Enrique for prioritizing the client over the business.
Oh, for sure.
Business FedEx, you're a multi-billion dollar business. I don't know.
Exactly, because the story was that he's such a good guy. I guess the original videographer that was supposed to shoot that wedding bailed on him like the day before.
Oh no! So please don't be one of those videographers.
And this is the thing about it is having that circle. I find it's important because he immediately thought of me, and because he's seen my work ethic. I met him at Skunk Masters. I was shooting for a selfie, doing a hype video for them, and I saw him, and I'm not shy. When I see another videographer, I'm not gonna be that awkward guy. I'm like, hey dude, I follow you on Instagram, like just so let's not be weird. Like this is me, this is who I am. I like your work. And we hit it off since then, and I treat everybody that way.
Love that.
Yeah, because like I said, I love other videographers in general. I don't care what your skill level is.
For sure.
You have something to offer. You always have something to offer and to learn off of, because everybody has different perspectives. Everybody's gone through different ways, and I pick up even things from you, and you're not like a full-time videographer or anything like that, but you like teach me things here and there that I didn't even like think of or something.
I'm glad.
That's why don't ever stay humble. I guess you would say. Like I will love open communication. I love having circles like that because it just builds you up and it builds everybody up.
100%.
It's a system that you just
It's so funny. My most embarrassing moment in content creation and filming as well is also not the same situation plugging in the wrong hole, but keeping it mute. It was the first time I got the Rode mic.
Damn.
And I didn't know how to fully learn how to use it.
Yeah.
And I put it on the scene, and we had the guy talk on it, and I used to have more wired or wireless, but the quality was ass.
Yeah.
So, Rode has been my go-to. And yeah, there was no audio.
Dude, and
it was 8 videos of 1 minute clips. So yeah, we had to retake them.
But you made it right though.
100%. I told him, hey, straight up, I just totally forgot. That's my fault.
Yeah.
The worst part is like for me understand that like the most precious thing a person can have is time. So when I asked him to do it again, it's even worse.
Oh, for sure, because they already, you don't know who, like, they had a book or whatever the heck, and maybe they're paying the people that are showing up, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the even worse part. Like
Exactly.
if they're paying someone to do that, oh my gosh. Not only did you slow down their operations because they're part of a system, now you're asking them to do it again.
Yeah. And honestly, going back to that situation, what I did is, moving forward, I started using headphones all the time. You saw it today.
Yes.
I busted them out. I'm like, I'm making sure I have audio, checking it. And I let the client know this is not going to ever happen again, man. I explained exactly what happened. I told him how dumb I was. And I let him know, moving forward, this is not going to happen. And I give him solutions. And I made him, reassured that it's, you're learning from your mistakes. Because if you start repeating the same things, obviously you're not going to get rehired.
For sure.
It's just, I think it's important to take that, like I said, take that L, explain yourself, and then just let them know what the game plan is moving forward. Like, this is how it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. I love that perception or that experience creates that, like, a decision in you to now start operating as you want to prepare for everything.
Yeah, exactly. And every mistake I make, I take, like I said, you got to take your L's and learn from them. You're not going to pick up everything in the first time around, that cliche. But until you start doing it over and then really thinking about it and slow down, man. Like, everybody's trying to get there fast. Just really slow down and learn things and take your time learning things and analyze things.
Yeah.
Take notes.
Cool, man.
Practice.
I appreciate you for sharing a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of value in here. Gold nuggets that a lot of people, not just business owners and creators, but just in general,
Yeah.
I want to pivot into something that's a little bit more interesting on your end, and then this end.
Yeah.
When did you start shooting again?
2016 is when I picked up my first, like,
2016.
videographer.
Right.
I'm gonna do this.
Do you remember that time when it was okay to shoot horizontally?
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
But now it's like everything is vertical.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like even YouTube Shorts wants you to make it so that you can format your video to become vertical.
Yeah,
And granted, you can still shoot in a 16:9 horizontally, but most people will be turned off by it, or even the algorithm starts to think, well, you have all these empty spaces, so like why should we show it to more people?
That's true.
What are some things that you've seen that you think has been interesting in this video industry moving forward from today?
I think it's a nice hybrid of what you can do with your iPhone and what you can do with a professional camera. Because you don't have to have the fanciest equipment to do all this stuff.
For sure.
And what you have is enough to create anything that's solid and something that's going to be, clickbait and viral and
100%.
stuff like that. It's very interesting how lately, yes, everything's vertical. It's weird. Even like most clients that I'm shooting vertical, and it's the weirdest thing because, like you said, like when I first started, I studied how to I wanted to shoot movies and how to shoot that way, cinematic stuff. So obviously I'm used to the horizontal aspect ratio, and then just to adjust to that stuff was interesting. It's definitely a challenge because you're working with such a small area now, and you got to make it look interesting. And sometimes you can't capture everything in there. You either have to get a super wide lens, but then you're going to lose like certain looks, and it's a tug and pull, but it's another challenge. It's something interesting to see how it develops style wise, because this is the beginning, and it's gonna come to a point where our TVs are literally, you can see this,
our TVs becoming
sideways.
Vertical. Oh my gosh.
No, not vertical. The mounts are gonna be able to do the whole like vertical look, so that way you can switch it. Who knows who's gonna be like when we're gonna have like our first movie theater and it's all like
vertical it's for the Gen Z's.
Fuck yeah, that'd be wild. I would not watch it. But
I'd be down.
It's just very restricting asset view.
Okay. Why do you say that? Like, it's the fact that just most cameras don't operate that way, or
I mean, they all can operate it however you need
it's not naturally.
It's just natural. It's cinematically, I guess you would say. To me, it doesn't capture the environment or where they're at. It doesn't tell enough of the story. It's almost like you're watching it in one eye. Nothing wrong with one people in one eye, but like
that's a good point. Yeah, because we don't see things vertically, but thanks a lot, Tim Cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I love that.
They're the one who developed the idea that iPhones are vertical, and then social media started to adjust to the whole
That's
vertical.
very true, because I even
think about that.
I think of the MySpace layout, and it was all just how it
Well,
formatted.
it was a computer.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had what are they called? The Kicks? Ninja? I forgot what they're called. But there was like a MySpace specific phone, and it was just formatted that way. And now, honestly didn't even think about it, but yes, the iPhone did make it that way.
Yeah. Like, it's funny because the world revolves around the attention,
Yeah.
where attention is.
Yeah.
And I think,
Now you think about it, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Because like I was saying, when it's, the other orientation, you're too busy looking at the scenery, how beautiful it is. Now, when you switch
It's
it,
a movie,
it's very
right?
focused. Now it's like narrow vision, like you're looking through like this.
That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective to look upon and see from a film producer, because I'm not a film producer. I don't consider myself a film producer.
Yeah,
but
me neither, but I'm trying to get there.
Okay, we'll get you there.
I know, I'm just kidding. A little
But
bit.
seeing that lens kind of made me just create a different perspective today. Interesting.
Yeah.
So then, as far as that end, right, you're definitely seeing that change. I mean,
A lot of
What
clients are asking nothing but that, mostly. It's because of social media.
well, yeah, they understand that. What about tech?
Uh-huh.
What are you seeing that have changed over the years for tech?
AI. AI's tearing it up, bro. When it comes
How do you say that? How do you say this is applying to videography
Because
and film?
we can't think of everything, all the greatest ideas. Sometimes you need a little help. What's that Chat GPT or whatever the heck
Yep,
it is?
I've been
It
saying that.
definitely helps when it comes to even like the image producing one. I used it just because I needed ideas for sceneries or something like that. I wanted to see what it comes up with. And sometimes you just need that inspirational spark. It doesn't have to look
Interesting.
perfect. Just if you want trying to come up with storyboards or something like that. I've used it before.
Really?
And it helps out visually, so that way you have something. I don't have to draw
showcase,
something
right?
out. Exactly.
Exactly.
So that, even like the Chat GPT stuff, if you need ideas for concepts or videos, I've messed with it, and it comes up with cool ideas that you can sharpen or even just build off of. We get writer's block. It happens.
What are your thoughts of people using AI to just fully generate what kind of videos they should create? Like, they're not gonna create it at all.
It's interesting. I still think AI, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to replace us anytime soon within my lifetime.
Good.
Creatively, because you still need that human touch to everything.
I agree.
You need the human touch. Like, I mean, music, yeah, it's recorded with a metronome to stay on beat, but there's that natural kind of sway to things,
For sure.
When it comes to beats, that you just can't be robotic all the time.
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't be, I guess, it would be rhythm, but there's a nice sway of, rhythm to it.
And it's interesting enough that people think that AI have they might be powerful enough to create these emotions or hit. The way I see it is that AI can only do what we have allowed it to be programmed to do.
Yeah, it still has its limits.
We, as humans, as long as we are continuously flawed, there's always going to be flaw in AI. So it's just going to maximize everything and maybe make things easier, but it's always going to have a flaw.
That's very true.
Right?
Now that I think about it.
Yeah. And the other part too is that what you mentioned, like each of us, like if you think about this, right? Everything that has been invented from time to time is always because one individual had the capabilities to express what their thoughts were and put it into action, right? AI is not going to be able to create shit like that.
Nah.
It's only going to be able to create something based on data that is accumulated.
Exactly.
So
Produced by us.
we're always going to be inventing. We're always going to be innovating. We're always going to be the person who's creating. So as far as videography, I think it's just going to get better.
Yeah. It's just another tool. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's another tool in the bag.
I agree.
You just got to know how to use it. Don't overuse it. It's going to have its tricks to it.
Yeah.
You just got to figure it out from there and just play with it, see what you like about it, incorporate it in your system. If not, then it's no biggie.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, I'm glad that we touched base on that. We can probably pivot on into a little bit of the ending on this end. We don't take too much of your time.
Don't even worry.
Yeah, we've been at it for all day. I know we're both tired, but thank you for staying tuned with me. I'm glad that Red Bull's kicking in for you.
It is.
So let's pivot into closing it up a little bit. For you, what does your future entail? What is videography and business is looking like for you in the next couple of years?
Well, I'm gonna start a production company eventually. That's the next step where it's established, and I want to hire some people. Hoping to hire like 2-3 people as a team, something like that.
Cool.
That's going to be the long term, probably within next 2 years or something like that. Right now, I'm still trying to establish more deliverables, different ways to kind of like tweak things. Because right now I'm good with momentum, and I'm good with my clients that I have right now. Of course, I always appreciate more. But for me, I think it's just going to be more. Where I'm a pivot is I already have, I guess, the client work. I need to start producing more for myself. I do want to pivot into just more information-based stuff, posting and stuff like that, just to teach more people.
Yeah.
Like I said before, people ask me all the time about how to do certain things, or they need help with certain or suggestions. And
so maybe you'll pivot more into like teaching.
Exactly.
Maybe workshops.
I'm gonna do more workshops
Wink, wink.
for sure. Exactly. Workouts for sure. The collab one was great.
I think we could do more of that.
We could do more of that. I want to do more, with my laptop, sit down and break down like my edits and kind of walk it through.
Yes.
I definitely want to do more social media presence with that too.
Cool.
And I'm thinking I'm gonna launch my YouTube channel this year too.
Oh, let's go.
So
can't wait for it.
For long format content.
Nice.
Because
like more videography, more like vlogging kind of.
I would say kind of like I'm gonna try to make the educational shit fun.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Love
so
it.
It's more creative. I'm gonna try to make it more entertaining. Just gonna make it more entertaining while you watch and learn.
Love
I guess.
that.
In my sense of humor and my immaturity and shit like that, So
I love how you put the two and two together. Your sense of humor and immaturity. Okay. All right. Cool. So thanks for sharing that, Eddy. All right. So for anybody tuning in, if they want to reach out to you for inquiries for service or just network with you, where can they find you?
Always you can reach out with social media is always a big one. Instagram, always reach out. I respond to everybody. My email's on there, and you could check out my website, eddyfilmed.com.
Nice.
You can find all my info there too.
Okay.
I need to update it a little bit for more recent work, but yeah, you can find all my info there.
Cool. And then for last one, for anybody tuning in, do you have any last message you want to voice out?
Last message is for anybody listening that wants to start into the business. Don't give up, dude. Just keep on hustling. If you want it, you fucking get it. I don't want to be all cliche, but there was times that I wanted to give up and I want to say fuck this.
Yeah.
But I didn't let that win, and I'm glad I never did, because I wouldn't be here chatting with you.
Yeah.
Doing this podcast.
For sure.
Getting myself out there is just, don't be shy to fucking express yourself. Don't be shy to record yourself. Don't be shy to post that post or any of that shit. Don't give a fuck about what people, outside noise.
100%.
Focus on yourself. Dial in the head, dial in the skill set, and then just start fucking doing work, man. As long as you work hard, legit, people will fucking see it and they'll hire you.
Yep.
It's easy as fucking that. I'm not even joking.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and
All right.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, I for one am thankful for your network, friendship, and working with you.
Thanks, man. I
So,
appreciate you.
dope
You
shit.
opened up a lot of doors for me too. So
Good. And we're gonna open more doors.
and I'm glad I keep on biting, because fuck, dude. Like I said, I'm not a shy guy, but it takes a little bit for me to come out, and I'm glad you fucking bring it on my show.
Oh, you haven't. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on board, Eddy.
I appreciate you, man. Thank
All
you.
right. And for anybody tuning in, we'll see you guys on the next episode.